What about Isaiah Wilson? Maverick, can you tell everyone what Isaiah Wilson's story real quick?
One Isaiah Wilson story? I don't know.
Just tell what his story. I mean, he was a first-round pick, and then what happened?
Yeah, he was supposed to be like a project, and I think he played like 4 snaps this year, and
But they were good.
Yeah, I think they were all on special teams, weren't they?
They were good.
And he's had a lot of issues with Tennessee, and it's funny because usually Tennessee is all about getting they're like recreating the guys that have some locker room problems, but he's not working out there, and he'll probably be traded or cut. But I think he had arguments about COVID, and he tested positive twice or something like that, and then he was arrested and charged with the DUI. NFL.com says, and we know there's issues with that with the 49ers in the past, that they avoid guys with DUI charges in the draft. So does that mean he wouldn't be available? But I just wouldn't touch Isaiah Wilson. I think that's too many locker room problems just to bring in for a guy that might not even be a starter on your team. If you brought him over, he would be a left tackle option, but it just doesn't make sense for me. It's similar to why I didn't want the Atlanta Takk McKinley. I didn't think that would fit in with the team. And Takk McKinley is not even half the problem Isaiah Wilson has been in his 1 year in the NFL.
Sounds like the offensive line version of Reuben Foster. That's the way you kind of described him to me. And I don't think they want those problems again. They already learned through that, especially after giving Foster the long of a leash he had. I mean, I know they're desperate for offensive linemen, man, but this is probably a little bit pressing. I mean, you know what? I wouldn't put it past them at this point. But you know what? It's not, now I think about it, it's not like your cap space. When you're pressed against the wall and you're broke, you're gonna have to try to reach for as many pennies as you can. You know, we talked about last week. Hey, they got $5 million. You know, it's obviously not going to hurt them, but it's just once again reiterates the fact that hey, now they got to start looking at the bottom of the barrel and see if they can turn some coal into and spruce it up in some diamonds. You know, at some point you got to be able to coach these guys up and figure out how you can turn bottom talent to somewhat almost mid tier. It's easier said than done, of course, but this is where you have to take the swings, especially if they're going to stick with Garoppolo.
Yeah, if you could trade, something at the end of your draft for him, then why not take a shot to just trade
why not?
and see if you can resurrect something, because he was talented enough to go in the first round out of Georgia. So, if you can get him for 6th, 7th round pick, swing at him and see what happens.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, and if they cut him, definitely sign him, because the way I'm approaching this offseason is the Niners, at minimum, if they don't replace Mike McGlinchey, have to bring in some sort of competition, someone to push him, because he needs to be pushed in a lot of different ways. And maybe this talented kid who was a first-round pick could do that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the best option, but it seems like a pretty good option. Mike, we're bringing in a guy who's more talented than you. He has his own issues. You have your issues. Let's see you beat him out. And you tell Isaiah Wilson, hey, we're bringing you in. We're not giving you much money, but you're going to be competing with a complete and utter stiff. Go get him. You might have a starting spot by the end of the training camp. So it could be a great spot for both of them, just at the right price. You bring him in at like the Jordan Willis price, not, you don't I wouldn't take like a 4th round pick for him,
Grant, when you said someone to bring him in to push, he was getting pushed all last season, Grant. Just bring DJ Reed back. Bring him back to push him on the push.
He certainly was getting pushed.